Hi everyone, welcome to Beyond the Evidence. This is the channel where justice matters. My name is Marv. I am a true crime fanatic, and I love to dig deeper into the mysteries of unsolved cases. Join me as we search for missing persons, uncover the clues in unsolved murders, follow along with jury trials, and we'll be a voice for the voiceless. I'll share with you the facts, the theories, the clues, the evidence, and the controversies that surround these cases. This is Beyond the Evidence. Good evening, everyone. I'm here at the Carroll County Courthouse. People started lining up right after court let out about 6:30 this evening. So I'm in my chair, got some lighting, which is good, and I'm gonna give you the information on what happened today. Now, I was not able to make it for the first Richard Allen interview that happened on October 13th, but I have some notes that I can go through and do a pre-recorded video on that later on. But I am going to go through the second interview and the notes from this afternoon that I was given. So I'm going to head into it and taking off the glasses so I can read. So today is day 11. Hey everyone, can you hear me all right? Let me know in chat. I'm just waiting for somebody to let me know that they can hear me. Yes, okay, awesome. So when I got into court after the first break, they played the Richard Allen, the second interview from October 26th. Today he was wearing a light purple plaid shirt with khaki pants. His glasses were on his head, belt, shoes. Seems like his defense team likes him to be in purple. I've noticed a trend with that. Like I said, this is the second interview on October 26th, 2022. So Holman starts talking about how they took his car and his knives and etc. from his home. And then he starts talking about how he had a 45 Beretta. And he was just doing small talk, I think, with him because they were talking about target practice. And Richard Allen had said, I haven't shot in a long time. And as soon as I heard the voice on the interview, chills went from my head to my toes. All this time I've heard guys down the hill, and I thought it was just the recording and the audio because they enhanced it. No, he's got a very unique voice, a very unique tone to his voice. And once he starts talking, everybody said, that is the man on the bridge. And I agree after hearing it. So, the police were talking about the items they took from the house and tested, that swabs were done. And I heard, have you ever, and then I couldn't hear the rest of the question that the police had for him. And he said, if I do, I don't remember. And I said, well, the test came back. Did you have a gun on the 13th? And he said, I didn't. And he said, and then Holman said, well, we have the handgun results. You know, it's got characteristics that are specific, like fingerprints to that gun and only that gun. And he said it's a 40 caliber and it has extraction marks, much that match your gun. And Richard Allen said, okay. And he said the prosecutors, oh, he shows him the extraction marks from the bullet, how it matches his gun. He actually showed it to him. And Holman says the prosecutors want to lock you up and throw away the key. And Richard Allen said, you already started something. No, or Holman said, you already started something. No backing out. And Richard Allen said, damage is done. Holman says, experts say it is you out there on the bridge. And he responds, Richard Allen responds with, I don't know how my bullet I don't know how my bullet would get out there. And Holman says, well, your bullet was found 6 inches away from one of the dead girl's bodies. And Allen says, there's no way. It's not my round. And then Allen says, I told you I was on the bridge. And then I heard him say, people think about me. Hang on, it's kind of windy out here, so I'm flipping the page. And then Allen said, I can't tell you what happened that day. I don't know. And then Holman said, if you don't tell me you're going down for this. And Richard Allen said, you already talked to my neighbors and talked to my coworkers. I have anxiety and stress. And Holman said something about, if you were in my seat, either you had that gun or someone had that gun. And he said, there's no way a round from my gun was there at that bridge. It's not me in that picture. And then he said, arrest me. The damage is done. Do what you're going to do. And Holman said, are you that guy? And he said, everyone who knows me can tell you I could never do this. You're trying to get me to confess to something I didn't do. The round from my gun, from my house, ended up at a crime scene. He said it didn't come out of my gun. And that near murder site didn't come out of my gun or how it got there. So he doesn't know, he's saying. Then he says, kill me. I don't give a fuck. What do you think of that? He said, this is Richard Allen. I never contacted Abby and Libby, never met them. And then they got a warrant for his DNA. They told him, we have a warrant for your DNA. I'm trying to help you. So they leave the room and he's shaking his head in the video. And he keeps moving in the chair. And one thing that I noticed is this. Every time the police go out of the room, he puts his head down and his shoulders slump forward. Like he's kind of trying to fold into himself. Now, in the testimony from Sarah Carbaugh, she said that the man she saw was walking the same way, head down, hands in pocket, and kind of shoulders folded in. That's how he would sit when the police were not in the room. As soon as they came back in the room, he was up straight, looking at them. It was crazy. So I put in my notes, I put creepy feeling all over my body when I heard his voice. Not what I expected. Sounds like BG. He was sitting in the room when the detectives left, nervous as he's sitting in the interrogation room, fidgeting. So then they had to read him a document to get him to get his DNA. They did the DNA swab, and I said in my notes, defiant, smart, interested in watching the swab get packaged. Then Holman says to him, "Ball's in your court." And Richard Allen says, "You just took my DNA." And then they're talking a little bit, and Richard Allen says, "What you're talking to me about is a bullet at a murder scene." And then Holman says, "Experts say that is your voice." There were 5 witnesses, and Richard Allen said it didn't happen. He did say there could have been someone that's seen me that I didn't see. And he said, "No one saw me by those girls that day. You're trying to trick me." All right, flipping the page. The train's going to go by. It's loud, so I apologize. So Richard Allen says, "I know around," oh, I might as well wait a minute. Hang on. Okay, train's gone. We're good for a while. And then he says, "I know a round from my gun did not end up at a murder scene." And the police said, "Well, we know you're involved." And he goes, "What was my involvement?" And he says, Holman said something, and then he says, "Neither am I," on camera. Then he says, "I do care what people think. I'm not going to tell you something I didn't do." And then Holman said something, and Richard took it in a different way because his response was, "Where is this guy saying I helped him? If you have someone saying I helped him, you're fucking crazy." Holman said, "I didn't say that." And then Holman said, "I'm trying to help you here." And Richard Allen says, "I don't need your help." And then he said, "Nothing you have is going to show me near 2 murdered girls." Then he mentioned that he was worried about what Holman said to his neighbors and the people he worked with. There's more conversation back and forth. I cannot get every detail in this. I'm sorry, but I got as many as I could. Um, Richard Allen said, "I did not have a gun." Once again, he says, no way a bullet from my gun ended up at a murder scene. He said that several times. Oh, and then Holman says, but the scientists say the marks on the bullet match your gun. And he said something to the fact it's not because I wasn't there. Richard Allen said, I told you I was on the trail, not a murder scene. And then Holman said, I feel good about the witnesses, evidence, etc. Maybe you didn't do this by yourself. You and I both know what happened, and there are some pieces missing. Once again, he said, I never even seen them. I never seen them, two girls. I went down to the police station and said I was there that day. And I wrote lie because he didn't go to the police station. He went to the grocery store and talked to the conservation officer. And then I put very defiant, denying everything, agitated, and frustrated. I saw him get very angry very quick in this interview. And it's crazy. It was crazy. And yes, he was cocky, very cocky and arrogant. He said, I'm not going to sit here all day and convince you I didn't do it. I have nothing to get out in front of. I'm not going to tell you I did something I didn't do. And then Holmes says, we have evidence. And he's giving him the evidence, right? And Holman says, you're damn right I will. And then police leave. And once again, he's sitting there by himself, shaking his head. Head goes down, shoulders are slumped forward. And I put in my notes with asterisks, more worried about what other people will think of him. And what did Doug Carter say in the 2019 presser? What are people going to think about you after they find out you murdered two young girls? Then, hang on, flipping pages. Wait, it gets worse, guys. Okay. Then, I put demeanor, defiant, smart, denied, said he was trying to trick him. Annoyed, agitated. Then Holman asked him something about the safety box and the ammo. The Winchester bullet, same type of round. And then he said something about even your wife is questioning you right now or something like that. And then I couldn't hear all of it, but he said something about, I think I know my wife. And then he said, oh my God, I'm sure you would. Okay, and then this is the part that I've been saying for a long time. Holman says, we know you had a gun. You've got anger issues. Maybe they said something to you and pissed you off. You racked the gun not knowing it. On my way here, I had no idea. And then they were talking about the gun and how he walks around with it, and he said he always has one in the chamber. And Holman said, "I'm trying to give you an opportunity to tell me the truth." And he said, "Stop giving me opportunities." I went for a walk on the trail and went home. And then they asked him, "Do you know Ron Logan?" He said, "No." "Well, when do you go outside with your gun walking?" And he said, "When I am mushroom hunting, when I'm fishing, or when I'm walking in the woods." Holman told him, "Evidence doesn't lie. If you had someone borrow your gun, you would tell us." Um, he said specifically, "This bullet did not come from my gun if found at that murder scene." So then he said, "Any round involved in this whole thing did not come from my gun." And Jerry Holman said, "I'm all ears." And then he said, "I carry my gun when I go fishing or tromping through the woods or mushroom hunting. I wasn't around there. I didn't have my gun that day." And I put very arrogant. And then they asked him how he carries his gun, and he said he has a side holster. And Holman told him, "I'm not making this up. Everything I'm telling you is facts." And he's showing him the evidence. And Richard Allen says, "I'm telling you that didn't happen." Smart manipulation is what I wrote down. And Jerry Holman says to him, "It's not what I think, it's what the evidence is telling me." And then he says, "You're telling me your gun was nowhere near the crime scene, but the evidence tells me differently." And then he's cocky. He says, "I get you think that, but I wasn't." And then he says to him, "You've already done the damage." That was from Jerry Holman. And Richard Allen says, "You certainly did." This is where I put in my notes again. There's something about his tone and the way he talks. Something unique. Voice is BG's voice. And I said, I thought originally it was the recording and how BG's voice sounded, but it's not. It's the unique sound and way Richard Allen talks. And then I put in my notes, very common interview, nothing suspicious on Ellie End, just like every other interview I've seen. Police telling him what evidence they have, RA denying. Can't answer questions why bullet was found, matching his gun. Didn't see the girls that day. Didn't have gun with him. No one else uses gun, only takes it when mushroom hunting or fishing. Can't be a bullet from his gun. More worried about what others think. Very defiant. Gets agitated and angry real quick. Asks questions to Ellie, showing he is smart, devious, and manipulating the situation to his benefit. Yes, many people in the courtroom said that Richard Allen sounds like BG. So once again, they leave the room. He puts his head down and he's slumped down with his shoulders, head hanging down. As soon as LE comes in, he sits back. And then Holman says, Richard Allen says, what kind of good person kills two people? Because Holman was talking to him about good people do bad things. And Holman even says, good people make bad decisions all the time. And then he says, oh my God, I didn't do anything. Our sitters are getting ready. I wasn't involved with them two little girls in any shape or form. I have never seen them before. And then he sighs heavily several times. Sitting curled into himself like Sarah Cowbaugh said he was standing. Then they let him see Kathy. And he tells her, and he's really harsh with her in the beginning, and she's crying. And he says, they're trying to tell me you believe I did it. You know me. You know this is not something I could do. I'm not going to sit here and try to convince you. And then she asks, well, how did a bullet from your gun get out there? He says, I know that my bullet from my gun was never near Abby and Libby's murder. I've never seen these two, and I didn't have my gun that day. And she said something about witnesses put you out there. They showed a picture of you. And he says, I told you I walked. Kathy was very upset. Richard Allen says they are not going to get away with it. And then he says, I know I could never do this. I'm just sorry you're having to go through it. I'm having to go through it. And then he says, I hear what other people think, and I care about what they think. I've had anxiety and depression for the last 7 to 8 years. And then he says, they want me to tell them what I did, and I'm not going to. That was a big statement. They want me to tell them what I did, and I'm not going to. I can't explain what I don't know. And Kathy was asking about the bullet at the scene again. And he says, they just want you to come in here and make me think I did it. Tell them you want an attorney. Don't worry about me. And then the officers come back in and they're screaming between Rick and law enforcement. And Holman says something about you're too fucking bullheaded to get out in front of this. And Kathy's still in the room at this time. The evidence tells us you were there. I didn't take a round and throw it down by dead girls' bodies because he was accusing him of that. Rick was. Then Holman says, tell him to do the right thing. You're going to put your family through this. And he's talking to Richard. Kathy leaves, and Richard is pissed in the video. Very pissed. And he says, now this is Richard Allen saying this. He says, you're going to pay for what you've done to my wife. And they're both yelling at each other.
What's that?
And then Jerry Holman said, "It is what it is." And Richard Allen says, "I'm done with this. Arrest me." And Holman said, "I'll be happy to." And this is fucking on you, Rick. I could not believe that he threatened law enforcement with the statement, "You're going to pay for what you've done to my wife." It's the craziest thing in the world. Absolutely crazy, you guys. What?
I was just gonna say, you know what's even crazier? Sitting out here not talking about that big.
So, well, you take the statement how you will. You're going to pay for what you've done to my wife. I took that as a threat.
Sitting out here with me.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people out here. So now, what happened this afternoon? Well, they started with the confessions. They talked about, they had the warden on the stand. So Warden Gallipo came. Oh, James Purley was on first. Said he was hired in November 2016. Officer training, several weeks, mental health, restraints, manipulation. Familiar with Richard Allen. In late 2023, was one of his suicide companions for several months.
Yes, I am. How do you do? How do you do? Oh, no.
On every shift.
Well, they asked us since we were coming up, we were going to kind of.
So then they start giving out, what the companions had to do is they had to write out these sheets every time they were a companion for him. Basically, it was a report of what happened while they were watching him.
The person's here?
So April 8th at 4:33 p.m., he said, "I'm ready to confess. I killed Abby and Libby. Fuck me running."
You can sit across the room.
8:50 a.m., Mr. Allen. Random questions. I want to confess to Warden and Dr. Walla. You made these entries when he made those statements. Were you aware he already wrote the warden? And the witness said no. Said he was quiet, docile, deer in the headlights. And this must be coming from the defense or prosecution, I'm not sure. He said yes. Flipped a switch and behavior changed. He started reading the Bible. Said he killed him. No detail, just said that he killed him. Behavior changed. Peeing in cup and drinking it.
Okay.
Yuck. Collecting feces, rolled into balls, lined them up. Oh my. After a few months, he calmed down. Yes. April 8th, 4:29 p.m. Foxtrot. FUK. Foxy lady. Fuck me running. These are some of the things that he was saying. April 8th, 5:46 p.m. He drank toilet water. Another time this was done again. And then something about a bottle of hot sauce. Urinated on his mat. April 9th, 3:39 p.m. laying on floor mumbling. 3:55, same thing. 4:08, again sitting and mumbling. And they asked if he did that a lot, and they said yes. May 1st, 2023. Did he tell you he was already dead? And I can't read the rating. 10:15 a.m. awake, asking for WW3? World War III. You thought he was perfectly normal? Objection. What did you think of his behavior? Big eyes, talking, taking it all in. He'd become dead weight, drool on self, come out with a question. Toilet water. He took breath before he did it. Is the toilet near the bed? The answer was yes. You questioned the authenticity of his actions? They said yes. Aware hitting his head? Not on my shift. Poop? Not first time I've seen that.
You've been around for you've been seen the true crime thing. Yeah. You were one of those.
Logical progression was to eat something. Then the person put spook incident, stabbing, genitals. Not sure what that was all about. Is feces stuff normal?
I was out there.
Where we're at, but not normal behavior. Is there something about that place that makes people act like that? Objection. Sustained. What's normal? What's not normal? When it disturbs, bothers people around. When permeates and affects others. Do you believe mental health issues is why people act that way? Did you know he was back there awaiting trial? Only state keeping under only one he's seen. If you found out he had a serious mental illness, would you feel differently? Wouldn't act differently? What about how genuine? Wouldn't have thought on that. Wouldn't matter. I treat people the same.
Even before they came out of the
No date given for incident. Doesn't matter why they're there. Treat them the same. All right, so the jury had some questions. How long was he on suicide watch? Taken directly there the whole time. Only individual cells we have. Was Mr. Allen in same cell B? Yes. What's allowed in there with him? Tablet, Wi-Fi, handheld phone, reading, Bible, and something from counselor. Food, snacks, clothing, TV. So they said do not behave or do not believe he had a TV. So then the defense starts questioning. You said he could get a phone like other offenders, but he's not yet. Wouldn't give him blankets. Suicide blanket. It's a smock. So no, they do not give them blankets. They give them a smock. Adjustment period to wearing them. Take them in morning.
It's a big vest.
It's a big vest.
Big Velcro vest. It goes across your body. You don't have any underwear or anything on. No blankets, no nothing.
Yikes. So then there was another state witness.
So you're something like that.
John
They'll
Miller.
get in the official-
So this is another correction officer.
Okay.
21,
There's
because he's standing.
Oh, you don't have a chair?
No.
I don't have a chair. I'm just standing. Yeah.
No.
Yep. So there's just count me as 2 people, I guess.
Oh, well, I guess this isn't. Yeah.
Still officer at Westville, 6.5 years,
'Cause I brought
6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
She'll be here later tonight.
Was a suicide companion.
Yep.
Observing starting a few months
gonna sit down
after
at
he
all.
got there,
If I sit down,
January, February of
I'm gonna go to sleep.
2024.
But that chair's for her.
So as a 4/9/2023, 6:58 a.m. Once again, he said, I killed Abby and Libby. Then it says, funniest joke is how he killed them. Is jury getting whole days excerpts? So the jury gets things that we don't get to see, which is probably all of these log sheets from these companions.
Did they get the transcript? They don't get the
7:24 a.m. I got what I deserved for what I did. I help. I burn in hell for what I did. Sorry for what I did for killing them. Kill me. 7:58 a.m. I'm sorry I killed those kids. Defense. Has his behavior changed? Yes. April, when all the inmates couldn't hear. August 17th statement. Told of the vulgarity. In March, some things regarding meals. The person said he had a switch I have not ever seen. He believed someone turned him in. He probably killed his fans.
What's that?
Then they talked about him saying that his sister was essayed. And then it says, asked you to kill him. And then it says, may have touched his daughter. That his Johnny gets friendly while asleep.
Yeah, I knew Richard Weaver and Lori and Amber. I worked with them. They're across the field there. So if you're looking at
Then it says Old Bear Paw. Does that make any sense to you at all? Yes. Mumbling. Mumbling, yes, a lot. Then it says people with mental health issues who have mental health issues being locked up like this could be detrimental to people. Objection sustained. Serious mental illness could be detrimental to their health. Yes. Prosecution, April 8th. Only killed them to give my family more time to live. You can't tell me I took their virginity. Sorry, killed those kids. Was afraid they'd something my wife told me to do it. He didn't because that change could happen within 12 hours. Thought it was orchestrated and planned. Oh my goodness. Something about concerned regarding wife. No details, no. All generic, yes. Treated by Dr. Walla, yes. Believe he was experiencing psychosis, not a professional. Can you explain things Ari did? No. Jury had a question. Normal to act like RA while refusing to take meds for a while? No. Then there was Brandon Fisher. November 7th, 2022 to through June 1st of 2023, Westville, was suicide companion. Regular task. He either did 12 hours or 4 hours at a time. Showed him his the suicide companion watch reports. The person did say he doesn't sound as prepped. April 20th, 2023, 6:25 p.m. Confess to warden times 2. Per management, he always says that. 4:29, 6 p.m. Killed 2 girls in Delphi. Stole it and left.
I turned 49. Oh my God. Goes fast. My God.
And then he tried to keep asking for someone in Delphi. And then they asked, so he took his meds? Yes.
Oh, yeah, you're just saying that now.
May 18th, killed Abby and Libby. Gash from banging hard.
Have lupus, which I
Not hard, that's just one of the things he would do. Oh, gash from banging head. Okay, 4:29, 6:30.
it is
Oh, no.
autoimmune.
Something about Abby and Libby going to
It's kind of a
grape,
weird
panicked,
disease. It's kind of like
killed instead.
healthy cells. My body's
Then there was an objection. There was a question, but there was an objection because it was out of scope.
like it's kind of affected my kidneys, but I've had that, like I like that came out when I was pregnant. But I've had
So what is it, hour? I mean.
Anything suicidal with Richard? Most people act suicidal.
well,
You weren't told
they're full fledged strokes. They're
about his mental health issues? Didn't know who Dr. Walla was? Times he wasn't bad. Nurse, but not many others on his shift. Saw RA with feces all over face. Strange, of course, but something you see in prison. Normal behavior in prison, right? Objection. Richard Allen called precious cargo. That upset you? Objection. Race referenced. Witness laughed. Said he stole box cutter from CVS, threw it out there. April 9th, he said he wanted to write a confession. And then the question was, did you know he already had? And the answer was no. May 18th, 2023, 8 p.m. Banging head, gash in head, asking for someone to read Bible. He told you he lost his V card. All he told you was he graped He told you the girls were screaming. Inmates tell him to something, and the answer was yes. Baby killer, yes. Because saying he was living in 1400s medieval time, yes. And you believed his confession, yes. Prosecution says actions of RA were, we spend a lot of time together, one-on-one. We spoke a lot. We had a lot of conversations. Never had issues with him. Would talk regarding childhood. Wanted him to read Bible verses. Statement regarding feces. I won't be doing that again. He did it again. I know right from wrong. Someone mentally, if he had a mental illness, would you agree being locked up like that for days, weeks, months could be detrimental? Yes. Something about lied on application. Objection. He opened the door. He knew right from wrong. Then there was something about a Jerome Rhodey, maybe another guard. Name was on sheet, but witness made the other entry except the last one. His initials. Let's see here. Can you interact with inmates? They tell you not to. State witness, Raymond Smith, correction officer, Westville, 8 weeks training. Okay, so then they show him his log sheet. I will not allow anyone to criticize any of the family members.
And because 5 grades, you're left.
4/10/2023. Kathy, I did it. I'm guilty. Run, Kathy. Run. I'm guilty. I killed these girls, so I have to kill myself. Still work at DOC, 5 to 6 years now. Yes, if my statement says that. And this is the second time I've heard that today. I don't have my glasses on, Melissa. If I fucked those girls, if I killed those girls, then there was an objection. Um, 410, 250, awake. God bless America. 312, masturbate me. Singing Mamas Don't Let Your Babies Be Cowboys. 405, running in place and singing. 4:50 a.m. Want to go camping? You, me, Roger, and I don't know what that says. Somebody was my best friend.
Into that.
Stuff like that, yeah.
Talking about wife.
Isn't it crazy? Like, you look back and just start.
Wasn't any time he mentioned details. Often mumbled, yes.
I don't think that it's way faster than what our brains can, and we can't handle it.
It's way too much. I completely.
Then it says, sell
I'm not really like.
bear, yes. Last you heard him say it was June, but not in July. Other offenders go at him. Some say there's no insanity defense.
Yeah, I keep with like extra stress. I know. And this is we have.
Then he says, sex with girls. If I killed them, I killed them. Having trouble remembering. Almost saying it doesn't matter. What makes you call mental health immediately? Signs of suicide. He didn't say he killed the girls, so he did say he killed the girls, so he needed to kill himself. But I was watching. Can't notify immediately. RN and supervisors. DR if I told them. Then the defense wanted to know, was his cell stripped to almost nothing? Not even sheets. The sink is on the toilet. Jury questions. What are suicidal actions that require calling doctor? Saying he'll
We'll have like a
kill
Thanksgiving dinner whenever my mom, she's 82, and she's like,
only if actually committing or trying to commit suicide.
no, it's good, it's good.
On the log, who is MM? Mark Money Think?
The farther we go.
So this is how it goes. I'm not going to read all of the next few, but I will tell you things that Richard said.
Eventually our vertigo vision will be half of what it is. Because
so this is another companion officer, Jason Bedwell. Monitored him every 15 minutes and logged it. Only enough time to observe unless behavior was concerning. February 4th, 2024. I'm sorry for what I did. Sorry for killing those girls. Laying down, crying, awake, talking to himself. Late January, early February to said date. He was mostly laying down from 6 a.m. to noon. They asked him if those sheets were in real time, and they said yes, he slept a lot, yeah. 9 p.m. taking medication, 6:30 a.m. eating, drinking. 2/4/24, 10 a.m. Sorry for killing girls. Made note regarding lying down, awake, talking to himself.
Would it be easier to look for on your?
Mine might be easier, but Josh.
March 15, 2024, interview with ISP. Different version. I told them, honest, sir. You told police RA was in fetal position? Objection. Did you tell police he was in a fetal position? Not on sheet. Not option on sheet. What about others? Specify. about
How cool is that?
could have been used.
Can't send request.
Told police he was facing the wall, not on sheet. Facing wall, not documented. Laying down, 9:45, laying down crying. 10:15, laying, talking. Not much before or after. I'm sorry for the things I've done. I'm sorry for killing these girls.
You know why?
And the defense was saying you didn't know what context he spoke these words. Stood there approximately 10 minutes. That's all he said in those 10 minutes? Yes. Okay. Jury questions. Sir, is MFD on this sheet entered into electronic report? I don't know. Was Ari under video audio monitoring at the time? No. And that is all we got for today. I'm assuming tomorrow is going to be another full day regarding the confessions. I've been told that the prosecution has to have their case wrapped up by Thursday so that the defense can start on Friday. Otherwise, we don't know who's testifying tomorrow or in what capacity that'll be. So let me scroll up here, take a look at some comments. Wanted to say hello personally to the first 5 in the chat tonight. Misty Free Spirit, Stephanie, Andrea, Tina, and Karen. Hello, everyone. Glad you're here. Stephanie says, oh, that is so scary. Yeah.
Come on.
Sounds like a man who knows he's been caught. I would have to agree with you. Kathleen says, I think that is weird. Yes, reminds me of the BG video, how he walked. It was so weird. He sat like that. AG says that gives me the chills. I think it gave me the chills when I noticed it. In fact, Susan Hendricks was sitting right next to me, and I mentioned it to her and told her, I said, watch how he's sitting when the police leave. I said, he's sitting with his head down, with his shoulders hunched over like he's punching into himself. And so she watched for the next time. She goes, you're right. And I said, exactly what Sarah Carbaugh described him walking as, too. Miracle Hearts. Yes, so glad I've been waiting for Marv's update. It sounded like it, too. Yes, absolutely. Yes, I am. People started lining up right after they got out of court. Court ended at about 6:30.
Yours come up like this too, like in your groups and stuff where it's like not. Yes.
He thought he was too smart to get caught. I know. I have a sitter coming for tomorrow night, so I can actually go home and do the live from there. According to him, mushroom hunting, fishing, or in the woods, which according to him was neither that day. Nope. According to him, he was just going for a walk, looking at the stock ticker, and looking at fish under the bridge. It's funny how it could be his bullet if it wasn't at the crime scene, but it can't be my bullet if it was at. I'm glad you caught on to that. I would love to see the jury expressions now that they're being introduced to the real RA. I can tell you once again, the man I saw on the interrogation videos is nothing like the man sitting in court today. I don't know because a lot of the times I'm stuck in the back on the left side and I can't see their reactions. Tom Webster said in his opinion, Ari does sound like BG. Yep. Yeah. Yes, I am. I am in a t-shirt, sitting out here having a good old time, enjoying the weather. It's a bit windy, but I'm doing good. I thought law enforcement was very patient with him until the very end when they got in the screaming match.
He just got a job.
Hey, Michelle, how you doing? All right, I'll see you at 6 tomorrow. Innocent people aren't confrontational like that. He was very confrontational.
That's tough. The whole step. I got married to.
That's what he wanted. That's mainly what he was worried about. What other people thought of him and what they did to his wife.
That was.
Oh, that is so awesome, Michelle. Can't wait to see you guys. So nothing happened to his wife. She was released. She wasn't detained. He was arrested right after that interview on October 22nd or 26th of 2022.
I don't know how to navigate all this crap. But yeah, I mean, we just.
I like these comments. Freaking bizarre. No way. Oh my God. Wow. Yeah.
A hard patch.
Gross. Yeah, I know what part you're talking about. What a sick monster. There is something seriously wrong with him. He's smart as a whip.
And then
And I think this is
someone who I would have never.
all an act because it's two completely different men.
And yeah, that's more.
I think he thought he had a good shot at getting released if he could do insanity. I personally believe he has been a piece of work throughout his life, and his family and wife are not very aware of that. Exactly. I think his attorneys told him it would be the only way to dismiss the confessions. Act
Sure.
over the top crazy, batshit crazy. I'm not doubting it. Yeah, because he started that after he confessed to his wife. I don't know. I have to find out which ones are the Odinist guards and which ones aren't. Oh, I love you, Randy.
Just heartbreaking. Yeah, that.
Greeno still has your chairs. I was actually wondering that too, but I don't think so.
I smoke. That's about it.
Hello, Queen of Ocean. I know this stuff was crazy, right?
The oxymoron here.
I gotta thank Biz for taking notes for me while this afternoon because I got in after break up until lunch and I was gonna go back in and I started to get a headache. And I knew that if I didn't take care of myself and I was gonna go in there in that lighting, the lighting in the courtroom is weird, that I would get a migraine. So instead I went and took medicine and ran home for a while and enjoyed a little bit of the sunlight. I think he's evilly perverted and watched too many Dateline episodes. Ari has no connection with Fouts. The CP stuff with Anthony Schott's account. No connection with crime, no record. What about all the missing stuff from Libby's social media? It's important. That is all being worked on yet. You have to realize the girl's legacy in all of this is going to be the fact that there is the biggest social media catfishing case that has been going on ever since this. There has been individuals that have been taken down already, some in Indiana, some in other states. But I think that when this ends, things are really going to happen and they're really going to go after people in that. Sorry. Had to do with the ring. What are you talking about? What ring? She's not a suspect. She is not a suspect. No longer a suspect. You guys got to stop hurting these families. You can give your opinion, but there is no family bashing in this on this channel. Absolutely none. I will not take it. They have been through enough. You don't see them in there every single day having to listen to this, to what has happened to their girls, to see how it affects them, to watch them cry and be in agony and pain, including Kelsey. All right. This was testimony that was given this afternoon and this evening until about 6:30. The information is not easy to hear, you guys. I encourage each and every single one of you to let your emotions out. We are invested in the death and the lives of these girls. Do not hold it in, because what we're telling you is not easy to hear. So, for your own mental health, let it out. I do. Yeah.
Been falling asleep, snoring in the.
Yes, I have heard that. Thank you, Elaine. I'm trying to do the best I can for everybody to give you the information that you can't hear and see for yourself. It's not fair. I don't think it's right. I think the audio should at least be released so everyone can hear what is going on. Yes, I'm outside the courthouse. So, yeah. I agree. Michelle, everybody has been getting in line right away after court is done. Get here whenever you can, and I'll stay here till then. I didn't say he looks scared now. I think he looks meek.
They always do. They take it out. They forget all that.
Everybody, yeah, I'm sure everybody is live at the same time. We're trying to kind of go live whenever we can, and it just happens that it's at the same time, and then we're trying to get some rest. Where is his daughter? I don't know. She has not been here. Hi, Stephanie. How are you? Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah, he's right here. Come on. Come on. Huh? What's he got? Come wave. You put money on his book.
That's a investigation and police technique to get them in the door, to get them talking. That just happens.
I took a video. It's like a visitation. Yeah, it's a visitation. Right here. Yeah, I can take a video of it. Is that? Oh, yeah. This guy's good friend.
Stephanie, I don't know too much about this. I've got to get some information from the people that were inside about this, because I know he said that he essayed other people and that he was essayed when he was younger. I heard that, but I got to get it from somebody that was in there.
It must. So we got a buddy in Michigan. Do you? Yeah,
Those are people talking next to me.
Yeah, Did he just say you're sorry? I mean, you just chat or anything now? Not I can send you the message, yeah.
The families are getting a lot of love and support. We're making sure that we have people in the courtroom every day that talk to the families, that know they're loved and supported.
31st, let's go to the state. Well, let me do it in the morning. I'll try for November 16th. Okay, schedule. Let me do it in the morning. Great. 15th, yeah.
Kelsey is not a suspect.
They didn't stop the machine. Like, still thinking, but we still get. Yeah, yeah, he used to, but not anymore.
I don't know. We're going to have to find that out.
That is going to be everybody. Yeah. We're out here. We're all here being convicted. That's it. Don't you think? Yeah.
You guys got to realize I'm outside and people are talking and chatting with each other. So yes. Bogey, your guess is as good as mine. All I know is that she has never come to a hearing or this trial so far. But she is on the witness list for the defense. Mom's asking where I'm at. Tell Mom I'm not coming home tonight. I have no idea where she lives. Yes, he does. Thank you, Miracle Hearts. Tell Greeno to shush. Thank you, Stephanie. Love you all too. Well, I'm gonna get off of here. I got through all the comments. I gotta run down the street and go to the gas station, so I can use the bathroom. And I need to get something to eat before everything around here closes. That part Judy hasn't come up, but I'm pretty sure that's coming up tomorrow. So stay tuned. So thanks everybody for joining me. I'll see you tomorrow after court's over. Y'all have a good night. Bye. Thank you for watching Beyond the Evidence. Today, I gave you my own opinions and analysis, but I always encourage you to do your own research and form your own conclusions. If you're interested in true crime and want to join me on this journey of discovery, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any of my uploads. If you'd like to support the channel, join our membership, and if you have any suggestions for cases that you want me to cover, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and remember, justice matters. This is Beyond the Evidence, and I'll see you in the next video.